Today, I have a special guest, man. Uh, he's an entrepreneur, business owner, straight up hustler. He goes by the name of Baby Boy. I'm gonna go ahead and pass the mic off to him and let him introduce himself to y'all. Let's go, Baby Boy.
How y'all doing? I'm known as Baby Boy in my community, but my business name is James May. Um, I have done quite a few ventures, quite a few. Um, I've been a cosmetologist. I was a co-owner to a shop. I was a barber. Had a detail shop. Had a mobile detailing shop. Had a cleaning business on top of the detail shop. We also had an independent record label, had two clothing lines. Presently, we got our own mixed adult cocktail. We presently have a project called Project 72, Mind Your Own Business, going on, which is positivity for people to go out here and start anything. You know what I mean? Have the heart to become what they call now an entrepreneur.
I'm gonna jump
Back in
in,
our day.
Cuzzo. I'm gonna
Go
jump
ahead.
in, Cuzzo, because you're giving us a lot, man. We know you're doing a lot. You're giving us a lot. Listen, man. What what made you start? What made you? And what was your first business?
My first business was so let's rewind. W- Reason why I started was you and little Joe.
Right. Yeah.
That's where it all my basis started. Riverside Projects.
Yeah.
Uh, I was from the east side, but I was in Riverside Projects like it was my home. Um, for those that don't know, that was the infamous projects here in Wilmington, Delaware. And that's where I got my start from. My very first business, and this is going to sound crazy, was selling candy in school.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Mr. Van Smothers took me up to a place on Market Street. It was it was a big candy factory. And he introduced me to the owner. He bought my first packages of candy, these big bags of candy for cheap. And then it's funny, I brokered the deal with the owner that he would give me candy in the beginning of the week, and I would pay him at the end of the week when I got out of school on a Friday. So I brokered my first deal, to be honest with you. So my first venture was selling candy in school. I ain't even have books in my book bag. That thing was filled up with sandwich bags filled with mixed candy. So that was my first adventure. So that was my
Wow.
first business, cuz.
That's amazing. Let me ask you this though. How did you feel like with the bag of candy and you coming to school knowing that you had something that they wanted? How did that make you feel as a young entrepreneur at that time?
Man, at that time it was supply and demand. My grandmother and my mother were always entrepreneurs. I didn't know what that was back then. I know it now. But watching my mom and watching my grandmother at that time, um, it was amazing. Um, it's funny because just a few years ago, I found out that my grandmother, my mom's mother, owned boutique. She had her own boutique. It just, I guess it goes full circle, but it made me feel amazing because I was able to have my own little change. I was able to have my own little change to do what I wanted to do. So it felt amazing. Wow, that's you took me back on that one, man.
So
Took me back.
so let me ask you that. Like now we had the candy bag, we hustling, got the candy. Uh so we got the candy, right? What was the next step? After you
So
hustling with the candy, what was your next step?
so my next step was, and this is crazy too, but my mom and them used to go to this laundromat on Miller Road, and it used to be like a grocery store right there. So yeah, I used to walk over to the grocery store, and even when my mom used to go to the grocery store, I used to stand outside and help people take their bags to the car. So that was a form of entrepreneurship too, hustle. So I got a little couple dollars for that. You know what I mean? The next venture after that was cleaning the pool room on Warren Street and the cleaners, which was owned by Mr. Van Smothers, cleaning
Mm,
that.
yes.
That was my that was my next venture as a young boy. And a touch of class owned by Mr. Soldier Boy. So I used to clean all three spots. They were kind of next to each other. So you had the pool room on the corner, you had the touch of class, and then you had the cleaners, and then you had the rest of the row houses. So I used to clean all three of them along with them other two hustles.
Mm.
Oh, you done pull something out. I might think about writing a book. My
Yeah.
mom's an author, so
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Much
yeah,
respect. Not only an author, she's a poet. She's a whole bunch of things.
yeah.
But w- yeah, yeah. We appreciate that. I want to shout out. I want to shout out Adam the Ghost. He said, "Hey, bros, hope you're both doing good." The guy named Adam the Ghost. So we appreciate it. We got Dr. J in the building. Uh,
Oh, okay.
Dr. J said, "Hello, panelists, mods in the chat." So listen,
Dr. J.
I got a surprise for you too, Cuzzo. I done did
Okay.
some research. You hear me? I got a
Okay. Okay.
video that I want to play for you in a few minutes, and I want you to tell me after I play the video. I'm gonna give you an opportunity to tell me what that means to you or what was it. But what was the next step? I see you went from you had the candy because I remember back in the day we had penny candy. I don't know if you had
Absolutely.
penny candy or you had nickel candy or what you had, and then you started cleaning. What was your
Hmm.
next step in your hustling?
Uh, from there, I have to say it was yours, but we're not gonna get into that. But just say I
Yeah.
learned some valuable lessons. Let's say I learned some lessons to become the adult that I am. From there, I learned the skill. I went to Del Castle Technical High School, so that was all through my you know grade school. And then when I went into uh high school, I went to Del Castle Votech, and my trade was cosmetology. So I ended up learning that trade and going into the cosmetology field. And no, I ain't cut hair. I did women's hair. That's what I did. I did cut hair, but my forte was women's hair.
Okay, that's what's up, man. Listen, before we even get into the big banger, the clothing line, record label, I want to show you this video. At first, let me
Okay.
introduce you again to some of the people that's here. Real
Okay.
quick, we got Baby Boy. He's an entrepreneur, straight up hustler. Came from the streets selling penny candy to now he got his own business. But I just want to show a video and let him tell me what this video means to him.
That show meant
What's your
everything to
thoughts,
me.
Cuzzo? Before you get
Uh,
started, man, I just want to say my condolences, man. My condolences, man. My prayers. You know, I know you're strong anyway, but I still wanted to say this to you. But tell us what that means to you, man.
that 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 collection right there that was previewed 3 years ago. 2 years ago, 2 years ago was everything, because that was a deal breaker for me. I was in a different space because of the passing of me and my wife's daughter. So I was in a different headspace. I wasn't creating like I once was. I wasn't really motivated like I once was. So that collection right there kind of broke the shell for me to start back and be where I'm at right now. Um, that conversation with my daughter was strong because I was
Mm.
taking her to appointment. She had fell down the steps and messed up her wrist. And she was getting ready to enroll into school, and we had a great conversation. And she was like, "Dad, your brand gonna be $1 million brand. Just keep at it." So yeah, that that was deep. That whole ending, I meant that whole ending. I meant everything that I said. And to this day, her daughter goes to Ursula Academy, and my wife, we push hard. We push hard. But yeah, that meant everything to me, cuz that it's been a minute since I looked at that video, so it's touching to me. It really is. And that video right there just gives me even more motivation to push forward for what I'm doing. Two facts. Thank you. I appreciate that. I needed that refresher. I needed that refresher. Hmm.
And thank you for receiving it well, man. I didn't mean to catch you off guard like that, but I wanted to do something, man. So now go ahead on to you can talk about the music, but we really got to get into your clothing. Go ahead, talk about the music, and but then
So
after that, follow with your clothing line and all that you're doing
okay.
with it.
So the music business was a passion of my brother's, and he kind of got into a situation, so he ended up having to go away for a little bit, and he felt like he it was going to die, like he put his all into this label and our studio, and we pushed forward and we made it happen. What I mean, it was a team of us that pushed. um Jiz, his wife, uh my brother from jail, me, Mr. Smith. We kept it going, and we made some amazing feats and trial and error throughout that whole situation of Inner New Circle Records, because that's what we formed. We formed a thing called Inner New Circle Records. We came together and put a project together while my brother was away called Heartbreak Breezy, and we released it on Valentine's Day, which was so dope. We did the campaign for it, so it's like I self-taught myself how to deal with the studio. I self-taught myself the whole business venture. Went out, met people. My mentor had passed away. His name was Tobin Costin, and Tobin Costin, rest in peace, sir. You were a true mentor to me. And he put me in avenues and in front of some real real good people that are high up in the industry, and I respect it. So small thing on Tobin. Tobin was Master P's DJ, and he was on the road with him. If anybody want to do the research on him, and him and Master P became very, very close. I had a phone call with Master P that put me in a very good headspace that Tobin put together for me, and turned me on to Nastiness. Nastiness is the Bay DJ that broke Eazy and NWA. Um, our song ended up going one, two, and three from our record label. Is Mr. Smith and my brother King Jules. Now he was Breezy at the time. So we hit the circuit and we hit the circuit running, and he even told us, it doesn't just because you're on the circuit doesn't mean that your thing is going to go above 100. And we end up doing one, two, and three because of the quality in music. We were featuring. We were going to different studios, and then we had our own studios called Ink Studios. So that was the thing of the record label. We had our own touring van. We had a lot.
Mm.
We were really getting in, we were really getting at it. But I appreciate Jiz. I appreciate my brother King Jules. I appreciate Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith is still doing his thing. King Jules is still doing his thing.
Yeah.
I think he got a single getting ready to come out. Uh, I know Jiz is down there in Atlanta. I'm not exactly sure if he's still in the music, but yeah, that was solid. Yeah, that was
That's what's
fun.
up.
That was fun.
Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to all your label mates and how y'all put it down, man. But go ahead and start with the clothing line. What did you
Uh,
start with first, and what made you even think that you can do it? Because I want you to say something that might encourage somebody who's thinking about going into business now. So talk about the
it,
clothing line.
it's funny you say that. So I will say that in the end would say something positive, but I got into the clothing space earlier on, like 2012. Me and my brother King Jules got into the clothing space about 2012-ish. But I had went to school for graphic art and design and started doing my own design. So we started Inkware, which is it was called Inner New Circle Wear. And we were putting it out into the biker community and things of that nature. Um, then we started the record label, which at the time, the record label, we were doing our own clothes. We were designing our own clothes. We were pressing our own clothes. Um, we had a like a little sweatshop at our own at at the studio. You know, at the time, the studio was at my apartment. So the front room was where we developed all the clothes, pressed all the clothes. The second room was the studio, and then the third room was my bedroom. So we had all that in the apartment. You know what I mean? So we developed the clothes there. We made beats there. We produced the music there. So then I'm watching people like Jay-Z and all them, and I said, "Yo, we need to develop our own drinks." Hence, the Yellow Venom came to fruition. I started working on that. So my wife wanted to start a in the summertime like a mixed drink and sell it. So she is the first one to actually put it into fruition. So I started working on that. And as I started working on that, we still had the record label. So then I started pushing both the record label and our own drink. Um, the record label end up, you know, people moving, things like that. So we end up kind of separating, kept pushing Sweet
Okay.
Venom. I kept pushing Sweet Venom. And then me going out. So we started doing vending events with Sweet Venom within the biker community. And I used to always wear the shirts, vibrant shirts, you know what I mean, with the SMV, with the Sweet Venom, with our very first logo. And I just kept pushing it and pushing it. And that was 8 years ago. I started pushing it in 2017. And then people started asking about the clothing. And hence in 2022, I started the uh, developing and doing more visuals. And then we started getting manufacturers. I started working on that. I had got that entrepreneurship, mentorship with group of individuals and two main guys called Nick and Marlon from World and Vision. They became my mentors, and actually they were younger than me, but they were in that space, and they getting it, and they still getting it. And from there, the clothing line got developed, and
So
then
let me jump. Let me jump
go
in.
ahead.
So let me jump in. So we got a fan that said, and this is Crystal Baynard. Says, awesome look at family collaborating. Shout out to Crystal Baynard. But what I was going to ask you, Cuzzo, like, talk about some challenges you faced and how did you get over the hump? Were they in it? First of all, did you face any challenges? And number two, the second part of that question is, how did you overcome those challenges?
Faced a whole bunch of challenges. The clothing space, the mixed drink space, both of them are very challenging spaces. The one challenging space I can say is getting manufacturers. Um, it's okay when you're doing your own thing, but when you start getting like cut and sew things, like the shirt you got on is cut and sew, meaning that it's developed from the fabric and it's cut out, it's sewn, it's put the logos are placed, embroidery way before it's ever stitched together. So it's not me going to a store, getting it crushed on to a shirt, and then taking it to and then coming out and selling it. I got a whole development and manufacturer. But the challenging thing is finding a great manufacturer that ain't going to beat you and you waste the money. Bro, I don't waste so much money because I don't waste so much money with this trial and error over the years and getting proper manufacturers. So that's one. You got to understand the lingo. You got to understand your textiles, your fabrics. You got to understand the measurements when you get your stuff. Don't never do a bulk order. Always get a sample so that you can do a revision. Um, so you can say what you do. Like, so this process that we go through is never easy. So I've lost money with a college degree in this space. I done spent money, so much money to learn lessons for the present. Uh, so I tell everybody, man, listen, get a game plan together. Write your stuff down. This
Mm,
right here is my new project, and I'll talk about that in a second. I'm sure Cuz will go over it. But you want to get yourself a a play by play. You want to do this because you can do it off of memory. And I learned this through trial and error. Like I've learned this through trial and error. I've learned this through me beating my head up at night saying, where can I fix this? How can I fix this? And if you think that it's just gonna be easy throughout whatever adventure you're gonna do and that you're not gonna come through a brick wall, if you're gonna have to figure out how to get over it, how you get over it is determination. How you get
mm.
past it is determination. Because if you give up, you'll never figure out how or what it could have turned into. You'll never figure it out. You'll never figure it out.
So, Cuzzo, we have this a 16-year-old. I'm making this character up. There's a 16-year-old, hypothetically speaking, that's in Wilmington. He's out Houston, Texas. He in Miami. He's wherever, but he's at a crossroad. He may got a little bit of money from the game because he dibbled and dabbled, right? So, in answering this question, we're just not talking about the business. What would you say to him, man? Because all he know is hustling. He really don't know business. He don't know none of that. What can you say to a young person like that, man? Because as you was talking, it made me think about them young folks, man, who go that route, and then the story don't end good for them. So let us know, what would you say to the young individual?
To a young individual that wants to start a venture, my first thing would be research and development. Research and development, one, meaning you, whatever you want to get into, whatever it is, if you want to get in the clothing space, if you want to get into the music, if you want to get into a retail space, if you, whatever it is, research it first, understand it before you start dumping your money into it. It's free to understand it. We got the best technology now. When we were growing up, we didn't have phones where we was accessible to Google and all that. Where right now, a 16-year-old right now has full accessibility to be able to build whatever he wants as long as he's willing to read, comprehend, and understand what he's getting for free. For free. So I would do that first. I would then build my page. Social media is going rampant. So I would build out my Facebook page. I would build out my Instagram. I would build out my TikTok. And then I would try to understand marketing. I would try to understand sales. So marketing and sales. So if he dibbled and dabbled, he understands sales. He understands how product development is because he had to do that, right? So I would understand both of them things, marketing and sales. Then I would build a community around whatever I got going on, whatever it is, being a clothes, being it whatever. I would build a community around it. And then I would start pushing content to my community. So that's what I would tell my up and coming entrepreneur. Learn and develop, dump some money into the education or whatever you want to do, learn marketing, learn content development, which is easy. We can do it on our phone. Record on our phone. We can record whatever we want. We can put it on YouTube. And then I will build a community around it. Then I will start selling to it.
Hmm. Very good. Very good. Good information. But I don't want to distract. I just had to throw that in while it was on my mind because I'll forget, Cuzzo. So I had to throw that in while it was on my mind. But I want you to go ahead and just talk about that Project 72, man. Because I know that's a big thing.
Oh
Talk
man,
about, because I know it's what,
Project
mind your own business, and that can mean a couple things. Go ahead, talk
yeah.
about that.
So Project 72 is something that I came up with my journey. So March 23rd, I became a vegan. March 23rd, and I was 200 284 pounds back in March. I'm now down to 252 pounds in 63 days. So when I weigh myself Monday, it'll be roughly around 72 days that I've lost 32 plus. I think I'll be somewhere close to like 35 pounds within 70 plus days. So that started that mindset. But then I said, if I can do that and dedicate and devote myself to a change of life for becoming a vegan, why can't I do it for a project for my own brand? So Project 72 is 72 days of pure hustle, pure pushing my mixed drink brand, me and my team, and then we're going to do it all over again. Project 72.2 for the clothing line for 72 days. And we're going to see what we develop out of it. So Project 72 ain't just about minding your business. It's about minding your business, whatever business you want to start. Like you're minding your business with this whole Mark B's perspective. You're minding your business. You're putting your all into minding your business to get out your information to the people and the masses. And Mark's B's perspective is now starting to flourish. So it's from you minding your business. But for those haters, they can mind their business.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Love it.
Mind your
Love
business.
it. Let me
So
ask you this though. It also, like you said, minding your business is not just dealing with business, it's dealing with personal life, your health, and all that. Tell me about, I saw you on a treadmill. Talk about that, the significance of that. Why was it necessary? What are you doing on the treadmill? Talk to us.
so I was on the treadmill and I went live, and it was funny because I went live because I forgot my headphones. I'm gonna be honest to you. I really wasn't going to document, but I said to pass the time. So I was saying, let me go live. You know what I mean? Let me get on live.
Right.
Let me talk about Project 72. But what I found is health is wealth. Health gives you clarity. Um, and it becomes a lifestyle. So all these things within these last 70 days have manifested to what we see right now, to me having this interview, to me pushing, me setting deadlines, me making things critical. So that's another thing. We don't mind our business, but we mind other people's business, and we take away from our own business
Mhm.
by minding other people's business negatively. When we mind other people's business negatively, we stop minding our own business. We stop putting into our own business. So that's why I say stop minding other people's business and mind your business. So that's the motto for Project 72. Mind your own business.
That's some good stuff. I like how you broke it down and saying, because first when you hear it, you just automatically, most people gonna automatically think negative. Or you telling somebody to mind their business. But I like how you broke it down. You're really encouraging. This is motivational. It ain't just telling you, man, mind your business. It's saying mind your business, handle your business. So I appreciate that, man. That's some good stuff.
Man, cause it's funny, but it's so much out here that we can develop. We just got to do the research. We got to do the hard work. Right now, we're in an age where we think it's instant gratification. You don't know. I've been putting 8 years into this, to this whole Sweet Venom Effect project. I've been in this multi phases of it. It's been 8 years, but
Yeah.
to the masses, they think, "Oh man, it just popped out of nowhere and it just happened." Nah, it didn't. I've been minding my business since then. I've been minding my business since then. So it just becomes full circle, man. And we just gotta we just gotta put forth the effort. If we don't put forth the effort, we'll never make anything, or we'll never see where it could have become.
Good stuff. I know Dr. J in the chat said, King Manifest. She talking to you, because all the work you're doing. Her response was King Manifest, talking about all that you're
Okay.
doing and how you manifesting all that you believed in. So that was some good stuff. Tell me the challenges. Are there challenges getting your clothes in stores? Do you want to do it like that? You just doing it on the website? What's your goals now and in the future?
So now, right now, it's web based, and festivals and events is where we want it. Clothing line is I mean, stores is challenging now because people are more shopping online than they are in stores. Because if you start to see, retail spaces are closing down like rampant. And the reason why is because of online sales. You know what I mean? So we just had to revamp and start doing a lot of more mobile type uh e-commerce versus computer type e-commerce, because people are actually shopping from their phone. They scrolling on their phones and shopping. So the change is different. So my motto and my team's motto is not to go into a clothing store space. We do want our own boutique, which we're working on. That is another project that's in the workings. We're going to do our own boutique, but that's different than putting your clothes into a retail space that is already thriving. If you have your own boutique, so we're working on that. So that should be coming in the next few months. Our own boutique.
That's what's up. Cuzzo, can you see the can you see the chat? I know it might be small print.
Yeah, I can. I can
One of your peoples, you familiar with the guy, King Manifest?
manifest. I see
I
that
think
sweet
it's your
venom.
people because they put SVE. And how would they know that?
Yeah, SVE. The God manifest. I think that's our new. I just got a new ambassador, male ambassador. I have a female ambassador for the brand, and we now have yep, Florida. That's our new
Florida.
ambassador. That's our new
Okay, that's
ambassador.
what's up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
just he just came on. He just came on as of yesterday. Um, Appreciate you, King. We'll be sending out your stuff. Appreciate you coming on. We appreciate you watching. Um, this man is
Cool.
amazing. He runs marathons. He's 6th degree black belt in martial arts. He's down in Tampa, Florida. He's doing some amazing things, and I'm glad to be a part of the SVE team. Um, Appreciate you, King. I appreciate you getting back that information to our team as quick as possible. This brother is amazing. MOB will bring
Shout out. I'm gonna say it. Shout out to the God, King Manifest. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you. He up there in Delaware. I'm down here in Alabama. But we trying to make this thing international. We got another chat that I want to read. It's from a sister named Crystal Baynard. And it said, MOB, no doubt. Minding your business help you to stand out. I couldn't say it like she said, because you know she's a poet, but I did the best I could. Appreciate that. Appreciate you, Crystal Baynard. Nothing but love. We appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you having me on. I really respect this, and you brought out some real good things and
Yeah.
things that I've overlooked over the years, from my humble beginnings to where I'm at, and the hustle and grind that I'm putting in right now to be where I'm at, along with the team. You know what I mean? Without a team, and that's another thing for a 16-year-old. Don't rush to build a team, but build a team. Get people like minds around you, people that are willing to build and and get skills of communication. A lot of business fail because they don't want to communicate. They want to be all I'm high and mighty, I'm this and that. And it doesn't work like that. You got to be able to have your teammates to be able to relate with you and you be able to relate with them. So build your team effectively around you.
Good stuff.